Happy Friday, CRON traders and investors. It's Rod with Powell Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Cronos Group and the terrible earnings reaction it just had after it missed on revenue and EPS. So we'll jump into today's video. And before we do, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So it is Friday, May 7th, and we just reported earnings on Cronos, and man, it just absolutely tanked and bombed, missed the estimates significantly. We were expecting on the revenue side, we were expecting 16.82 million, came in at 12.61, so huge miss, and EPS, massive miss as well. We were expecting negative 0.0886, came in at negative 0.44, but and I do feel bad for anybody holding this stock. In our group, I've been giving warnings that the stock is extremely bearish, and it's so widely considered as a tier one company. And in my opinion, that's just not the case. And it's very evident here that that's USD, so we're bringing in about 16 million Canadian. And a lot of people consider Hexo to be a tier two, tier three company, but it brought in over 30 million last quarter alone, and that's before the Hexo and Zenabis merger. So we could be pushing 50, 60 million a quarter on Hexo, but yet so many people, I don't see the logic there. And to me, these revenues and the fact that Cronos can't even produce any margins on any of their products. If you look again at like a Hexo is an obvious example, they've got 30-40% margins on multiple products, not just one. And Cronos very much struggling. And let me know in the comments below if you're bullish and bearish on Cronos. Again, this isn't meant to slam the stock, but my bias and my sentiment on the stock is very bearish. I never really liked Cronos. I mean, there's the spinach diesel, which is pretty decent, but other than that, I don't really care for any other products. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite product is, or if you have one, or if there's one that you really, a few that you really enjoy. I'd like to check them out. But personally, what is the future of Cronos? Are they going to basically, kick the can? Are they going to make it long term? It's not looking good. And we can see that with other companies, Tilray and Afri emerging, it's really only going to hurt. So maybe they look at acquiring another company. We'll have to keep an eye out for that potential as well. But things are not looking good for the future. And the management basically said that it was because of the economic crisis that we have at hand. But I mean, there's other companies that are posting, look at Hexo, posting crazy 97% year over year, and another consecutive quarter, I think it was the sixth quarter in a row with improving EBITDA, and they actually reported positive EBITDA. So it can be done. I just think that the company is not as sound as many people think, and it is certainly not a tier one company. Generally, tier one is considered over 20-25 million in a quarter in revenue, and we're about half of that. So I am extremely bearish on Cronos. I have been for a while, and if you take a look at the weekly chart from that massive bull run at the beginning of the year, we are now down over 50%, so we're down about 55%. We were given multiple weeks heads up when we lost the 10-week moving average. The stochastic and MACD were extremely bearish, and we've just been on a free fall ever since losing that 10-week moving average. So we were given a heads up about a couple of months ago that CRON was looking bearish, and we could even see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, which would propel us to the direction of weekly oversold rather. And just look at that surprise, 395% negative surprise, and that is just atrocious. So we do have support coming up at 690. You could enter off of a play if you are looking for a bullish entry. You could enter off of that support, but just keep in mind we could see that EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. But once we do bounce on the weekly here, once we break the high of the previous weekly candle, the weekly bounce will be underway, and we have a lack of resistance from the low all the way up to about 51%, and then to the recent highs, you're looking at over 120% of upside. So I do expect a fairly significant bounce once we get underway, but maybe we need to wait for some significant daily oversold conditions. We did top out at EMA 12 today, which we've been rejecting at. Most MJ has been doing it, and Hexo, for example, got over it, so it's a clear example that it's very strong. But if you look at CRON, rejecting, CGC, Canopy growth, rejecting, so very similar to CRON chart. So if we can close over EMA 12, that will be notable. And then if we can change the daily trend and then cross the EMAs, similar to what Hexo did, low, high, higher, low, and higher high, confirmed a daily uptrend, now closing well above those EMAs. That's what bulls in CRON want to see, and CGC and the rest of the sector. But for the sake of this video, we'll keep it focused on CRON. But if we can close over EMA 12 and then EMA 26 and then confirm a daily uptrend, that will confirm that our weekly bottom is set. But if you are looking to enter, this is a potential decent entry, right? Some names, if you look at Tilray, pulled back about 80%, CRON back over 50%. We do have support there at 690, but just keep in mind that there's a lack of support down to about $5 psychological after that. But taking a look at the weekly chart, again, we were giving multiple weeks heads up. And the last saving grace here for the bulls is the 50 weekly moving average sitting at 764. So we did close above that at 769. So again, if you're entering off that 690 support, we also had the 50 weekly moving average there at 764, which we did get below. We got as low as 716. So we came within about 26 cents of support. So even if you wanted to potentially, get a starter position going and average in, that would have been a decent place to start acquiring and accumulating, in my opinion, if you are bullish. But personally, I didn't take any positions. I'm not bullish on CRON. Again, just taking a look at the daily chart, we still have yet to close over those EMAs. We're still in a daily downtrend while some other names are already in daily uptrends. So there's just a lot more better opportunities there, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that CRON can't have news or acquire another company or come out with new products. Whatever news might come, in the pipeline, we don't know. But based on the technicals, it is not looking good at all. And then if we do bounce, we'll be looking at resistance at 826, which is the 100 weekly moving average, and then the 200 weekly at 858. But again, a lack of resistance up here until about the $10 area, $10, $11 area. And on the daily chart, we also lost the 200-day moving average after a lot of names held their 200-day, like Tilray, for example, on that massive pullback down 80%, still held its 200-day moving average. CRON down 50% plus and lost its 200-day moving average. So clearly weaker, and we could even be seeing a death cross form here with the 50 crossing through the 200, but still a ways away yet. Not expecting that to happen anytime soon. And also on the CRON chart, we're well below the weekly VWAP. So it is not looking good. And just keep in the back of your mind that if you're not entering off support, or if you're not setting a stop loss with a clear support level in mind, just keep in mind it can always go lower than you think. The market can stay way more irrational longer than we can stay solvent. So just keep in mind that if you are entering, make sure to be using a stop loss. I do think there's a lot better plays out there, but let me know in the comments below if you have any favorite products that I haven't tried. I would love to hear from you. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you a little bit later on for an MJ sector review. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.